The greater good? Really, Harry? You're doing this for the greater good? Whose greater good? That you need the royal family to join you to censor the entire press and YouTubers like me? That's your greater good? And you're not going to stop? That is a threat, a direct threat to the royal family.
Part of the problem has been the weakness of the king. He should never have agreed for their children to get royal titles after the Queen's death. And he should have stripped them of their titles and actually made a declaration that they're no longer representatives or members of the royal family. But Charles prevaricated. He's terrified of, in any way, creating new enemies, so to speak. But I think as well, Charles has behaved weakly because he feels guilt. He feels guilt that Harry keeps on repeating that his great misery and just self-destruction has been the death of his mother and how appalling that has been. But I mean, Harry doesn't understand his own mother, and Charles understandably feels the guilt whatever he does, because obviously he wasn't a great husband to Diana, and wasn't a great father either when he abandoned Harry and William very often at weekends to go and meet Camilla.
You're too sweet for me. I think that's what Harry should have said to Meghan Markle. Because I'm sure that you've heard that song, Too Sweet. You know, the guy said, I think I'll take my whiskey neat, my coffee black, and my bed at 3. That's a way of saying thank you, but no thank you. I don't want to see you anymore. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, is Harry really, really wishing he had said no to Meghan Markle. Because what a pitiful display that we saw on that ITV documentary. I don't even think you can call it documentary because it's actually quite pathetic. Harry hit bottom. And you know what's incredible? That the newspapers are saying that this is his first interview. His first interview. How can they say this? Have they forgotten this out when they were in South Africa? They gave that interview? Have they forgotten Oprah? How about the Tom Bradby interview? How about Stephen Colbert? How about James Corden? I mean, this guy, another Tom Bradby interview in the United Kingdom. How about with Gabor Mate? They haven't stopped giving interviews and is talking about the same thing. Harry is no longer the press darling. He's actually a buffoon, a clown. And you know when he says that the reason for his family rift is the press? Keep in mind that Rachel Meghan Markle is the one leaking stories to the very same press, and that Harry is granting an interview to the press while moaning and bitching about the press. If that is not ironic, I don't know what it is. That is the reason why you no longer have a family. That and the fact that you have lied, slandered, defamed. But Harry's interview for the 100th time is basically a plea for help. And it's a threat to the royal family when he says, I'm never going to stop. I'm just getting started. I mean, spare wasn't enough. The me you can't see when he lied to the Queen, that he said that the interview with Oprah was about the veterans, and then he gave her a big screw you. So now he sits with this woman who clearly is not a reporter. It was just because the questions were heavily edited. That everything was rehearsed. Harry has learned very well from his master, Meghan Markle. How to lie. I mean, I don't understand why ITV is saying that this is his first, again, interview. Because that is like interview 110 or something like that. Spare. Gabor Mate, when he went doing the rounds and how nobody was going to tell him anything. I mean, we're fed up of it. We're fed up. No, the only reason why Harry's keeping the story of suing the press is because that's the only thing he has going. Because boy, is Invictus going to be a big thing right now. Because I have a video about that. The Invictus thing in Birmingham. Oof, that's mind-blowing and eye-opening. He has nothing. I mean, what else has Harry left? other than to keep suing people for the privileges that he's lost. Because you see, Harry got used to having Buckingham Palace shutting the press for him. Now it's really become very clear to me that Buckingham Palace and the press were being too kind with Harry. They were not printing out stories that they should have printed. And you know what? It is of public interest because this is a man who's hell-bent on censoring freedom of speech, censoring what we can say simply because we don't say the things that he wants to hear because we call him out in all his lies. And his this man racially abused soldiers. He wore a Nazi uniform. And then he's a huge drug addict. He wrote it in Spare. Drugs are a central part of his life while he was in the military. He was the party prince, but not in a good way. He's no longer a 5-year-old where people can say, oh, that looks cute. Now he's a 40-year-old man. And a 40-year-old man who doesn't stop whining. And the reason why he's in the place that he's in is because he believed the Kool-Aid that a D-list actress sold him because she appealed to his shadow self. Many of you ask me what a shadow self is. Shadow self is the part of you it's underrated, or you believe that it's not appreciated by people. It's the part that you don't show to others. So Meghan Markle leaned very heavily on that, of Harry being the second in line to the throne because Prince William was the handsome one. He was the heir. He was the good man. He was hot. Harry was this weird looking man because Harry's not an attractive man. A weird looking man who's dumb, but he's not that dumb because he's dumb enough to know that he is dumb and that affects him. He knows that. He knows that he's second best. And I'm being very kind here because he's less than that. He knows that. So what did Meghan Markle do? No, you're not that. You have your charity work. Your work is better than William's. You're better looking than William's. You should be king, not William. So she leaned very heavily on that. And I'm going to help you get there. And like I said with Andrew Goldwyn, when I did that interview with Andrew Goldwyn, I asked him about it. And he said, do you think that Harry sits down at one point and even thinks, crap, I screwed up? Look at City. City, I see you. Of course not. Andrew Gold said it very clearly. And I believe that too. That he can't afford that luxury to sit down and admit that he was swindled, that he was fooled by the very same woman who thought he was going to save him from being number 2 or 4 or 5 or 6. So what is with this lie that this is his first interview? How much are they going to gaslight us? So Harry, if you're looking for a culprit as to why your relationship with your family fell apart, all you have to do is look at your marriage certificate and the name will come out very, very boldly there. It's Rachel Meghan Markle. And while you're crying again on another 100th interview, she's laughing back in Montecito with her new lover while she's plotting to get rid of you because she can't stand your guts. And you are a coward. Quit threatening people. You whine so much. You're almost 40. And the fact that you're comparing your mom, why don't you let your own mother rest in peace? You're nothing like her, and Harry forgets. Oh, I think she was hacked. I think she was, what? Do you guys remember Squidgygate? And how about Prince Charles when, the tampon? How do we know about that? Charles wanted to be a tampon inside of Camila. Huh? Because those conversations were leaked. Somebody hacked them. So we know that was happening. But he's counting on people not to have recollections about it. But just look at what he says in this interview, because we have to talk about this, guys. I think we know who the name of the rift is. We know who is responsible. We know that the royal family rift with Harry has a name. He just doesn't want to say it out loud. But this is what happens when we watch a man on screen for the 100th time filled with regret. It's almost painful, pathetic, and again, not taking absolutely any ownership or accountability of his actions. So let's get into this, beautiful people, because it's painful to watch. We know the name of that rift, and her name is Rachel Meghan Markle.
To what extent do you think that your determination to fight the tabloids destroyed the relationship with your family?
I think there's, that's certainly a central piece to it. But you know, that's a hard question to answer, because
actually it is a hard question to answer for Harry, because it's not his determination to fight the tabloids, because he's always known what the press was. The press did offer him back in the day, him and William, they offered William £1 million because he had been hacked 35 times. Harry had only been hacked 9 times. And they offered him amount of money, and he refused it. And he waited for almost 19 months before he actually brought a lawsuit. By the way, this lawsuit is still pending. They haven't decided anything. So this is insane that he's doing this. It is not that he's fighting the tabloids and blah, 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 blah. Why is he fighting the tabloids? That is the question he has to ask. Were they wrong about anything? He did wear the Nazi costume. He did drink and did drugs. Now we know that he did a lot of drugs because of his despair and all the interview he's given. He even endorses certain types of drugs. And he did cheat on Chelsea and most of his girlfriends. He is dumb. He is racist. He was caught saying racial slurs to his fellow soldiers. I mean, if anything, the press fell short on reporting about Harry and Meghan because they've been kind with them. So I really don't understand, because he's angry that the press exposed his nasty behavior, because he says very tellingly during this interview also that there's a difference between what interests the public and what is of public interest. But of course, him being a drug addict, racist man who has no concerns whatsoever for the Holocaust, wearing a Nazi costume, and him getting into the military because Eton cheated, it is of public interest because it exposes the rotten nature inside of an institution called the monarchy. And they've done all of that to give him a life, to make sure that he was well received in the public. So the press actually hid a lot of stuff, but he doesn't want to be thankful. He just wants to be able to behave appallingly and not have anybody report it. That's really what it comes down to.
Anything I say about my family results in a torrent of abuse from the press. I've made
No. The press does not abuse you. We YouTubers, we social media condemn you. It is not abuse when we call out your lies, Harry. It is not abuse when we call out your lies. It's not a torrent of abuse from the press. The press doesn't abuse you. It's us, social media, the public, who are fed up of seeing what you're doing, what you're saying, the lies you're spewing, simply because you married the wrong woman and you know it. You have a lot of regrets and you want your life of privilege back.
Made it very clear that this is something that needs to be done. It would be nice if we did it as a family. I believe that.
Why would they need to do anything as a family? The press actually was right. Meghan Markle was not a self-made millionaire. She doesn't have a double major. She didn't pay for her school. She's trashed her entire family. She is a D-list mattress actress with a very, very shady past. So why would the royal family get involved in trying to cover up more of Meghan's lies? They already have risked a lot.
Again, from a service standpoint, and when you're in a public role, that these are the things that we should be doing for the greater good. But
wait a minute, the greater good. Okay, the greater good for what? They should be censoring the press for the greater good. Do you guys remember freedom of speech, what Harry says is bonkers? So he wants the royal family to get together with him in his effort to censor freedom of speech. And what? So his nasty deeds don't get exposed? Can somebody please help me? Because that's what I'm hearing. But then again, I could be very much way off. Because he's saying that the royal family should join him in fighting the press and censoring the press for the greater good. No. It is not for the greater good. It is for his own good that he wants to do that. He wants to still be the very much loved prince, the very cheeky little prince. He's no longer that. He's no longer the darling's press, the press darling.
I'm doing this. I'm doing this for my reasons.
What do you think of their decision not to fight in the way that you have?
I think everything that's played out has shown people what the truth of the matter is.
Of course, we can all see it. The only one who's blind to his own demise is Prince Harry. He's blind to his own demise. He's blind to his own plight. He's blind. Or you know what? I did an interview with Andrew Gold, and he said that Harry can't even fathom. He cannot even sit down for 1 millisecond to contemplate that he's being played by Meghan, that everything he's doing in every interview gets worse and worse and worse. He can't contemplate. Everybody can see what's played out except him, or he chooses not to because it's too painful for him.
For me, the mission continues, but it's caused, as you say, part of a rift.
Yeah. So the mission continues. That means he will never stop. You will never hear the end of it. This is going to be interview number 120, 140, 160. How shameful for this man, actually, this is. I mean, just that little snippet, about a minute long, tells you pretty much everything you need to know. Everything you need to know about Harry. One, he's filled with regret. He's lashing out at everybody, except the person who he should be calling out because he's too scared to call her out. That's Rachel Meghan Markle. It has nothing to do with Charles at this point. And like Tom Bowers said, Harry and Meghan are taking advantage that Charles is pretty weak and refuses to act decisively, remove their titles, turn them into private citizens, and allows this continuous barrage of slander to continue. The only reason why Harry was even given airtime is because his father is the King of England. So he's exploiting the very same position. He's exploiting the very same press. How can he be giving interviews to the press? He hates the press. ITV is one of them. Or is it that it's only the press that allows him to say what he wants without anybody refuting anything or asking any questions? That is called dictatorship. That's called censorship. That reminds me of the man with the mustache. But if you want to know why you no longer have a family, 1, you're a rat. 2, you have been exposed for who you are and without the Buckingham Palace PR machine. But what a pathetic display. This man is a rat, is a coward. And instead of keeping quiet, he's trying to force the royal family, force them. He wants to force them to join in this madness that he has of censoring free speech. If he doesn't want to be called out for nasty behavior, or if he doesn't want to be called a racist, then quit being a racist. If he doesn't want to be called a drug addict, then quit doing drugs. If you don't want to, he can't do anything about being dumb. Okay. But then quit giving interviews, because then we can clearly see you're dumb. And if you're unhappy about your family's rift, then start doing something positive about it, not threatening them that you're not going to stop, because that's what the message is. That's what the message is. You tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know what to tell you. So thank you for watching, guys. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But do leave me your comments about what do you think this guy is doing. Do you think that it's the press the one to blame? Or do you think it's Meghan Markle and Harry's fault that his family want nothing to do with him? First, because of his choice of partner. 2, for his actions afterwards. And 3, for what he's still doing nowadays. And 4, he doesn't want to admit that Meghan Markle lied to him. Please leave me your comments, beautiful people.